Alright, so we are in Cairns.
Cards.
Cairns. We're in Cairns.
Doesn't make any sense to be Cairns.
You gotta be one of the locals, you gotta fit in, babe.
I will
You can't
never be able to say that correctly.
You can't be a gringo.
A gringo.
And we're gonna be heading to the Poops Tangled. They look tangled to me. Damn Poops.
No, they're
Are
not.
they right?
Oh, this is just like underdubbing.
Nah.
It's fine.
So we've been on the road now, is it 11 weeks? Or 12 weeks? I lost track of time.
I don't know either.
And we've done 7,000 kilometres.
We took the car to be serviced, and the person resetted the kilometers. So
Yeah, well, we had about 6,500 when we got to Townsville, and then we've done 500 since.
Yeah.
That's alright, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
How are you liking North Queensland so far?
Oh my god, I'm loving it. If I could change one thing, would be the mosquitoes, the alien genetic modified monster mosquitoes that can bite through lead.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Dobby, sit down, please. Dobby.
That would be the thing. Oi.
It's being annoying.
Yeah, that's because he can't sit down because Toad is behind me under me. Oi, sit down.
Sit down,
There
please.
you go, good boy.
Uh,
But other than that, it's beautiful. I mean, it reminds me so much of home.
Yeah.
Like, specifically
Wallaby.
Florianopolis. Oh.
just looking.
Specifically Florianopolis is just uncanny. I mean, it makes sense
Yeah,
that it
it's
looks like
tropical
there. Exactly.
islands, and this is the tropics, so it's kind of makes a lot of sense.
It is beautiful. It's so much green everywhere and mountains and everything.
It's very relaxing, and yeah, it's like it's perfect weather in winter. I'm very interested to see what it's like in summer in the wet season. But I guess it's going to be similar to Floripa in summer.
I think so too. As long as it's not like Blumenau, because like Blumenau was kind of like a valley and it was a city in between all the mountains, so the humidity and the heat was like insane.
Well, we've got to imagine. You got to realize that Floripa is lower.
It's like sea level, right?
No, but it's further away from the equator, whereas Cairns is closer to the equator.
Yeah, 100%.
So I think it's going to be more like a Rio style weather.
Yeah.
Which is
Pretty
fucking
hot.
But as long like at the end of the day, like how often are we outside? Like we're doing this trip at the moment, but how often under normal circumstances are we out doing
That's the
stuff?
thing, like if we have like a farm, right, with animals, and if we're going to be reforesting
we'll be outside.
we will be outside quite a lot. But I think that for what we've been checking out, it actually doesn't, like the temperature doesn't get like super high. It's just the humidity. Like Rio actually get to 41, 42 every summer.
Yeah, wow. But I guess the big thing I was reading today, because we looked at that property yesterday, as we said through this trip, we don't need to be anywhere. Like in terms of living, we're not constrained by having to be in a certain location. As long as we've got the non-negotiables for the property. It's beautiful. As long as we've got the non-negotiables for the property and we've got access to airports and amenities and stuff, then we could be anywhere.
Exactly.
And like buying in Sydney is just ridiculous.
I wouldn't buy in Sydney anyway, because like I'm kind of like, I like Sydney mostly because of the food options that you have there and my friends, but honestly not a huge fan of like the big cities lifestyle. It's not for me.
Yeah, I agree. And like we were looking at properties in the Hunter Valley, and like you're going to spend $1.5 million to get a decent sized block of land.
Yeah.
And then we looked in Bellingen, which is about the same price. And then the property that we looked at yesterday was 550,000 thereabouts. And then there was a second block of land that had about 70 acres, which didn't have a house on it, but it had its own private boat ramp, which was really cool, and then had a lot of area for us to reforest and to put animals and to create our retreat.
Yeah.
And that was about 350,000. So for 2 properties with 70 acres, which was an hour from Cairns and 40 minutes from a decent sized town and 10 minutes from a little town, it's 900 grand.
Yeah.
And the reality is,
And it's a
and it was
beautiful
a gorgeous house.
Beautiful. Not only the house, but like the property is just like, oof.
It has like its own little river, freshwater stream with little rock pools and waterfalls.
And I'm gonna tell you, the water tastes amazing.
How do you know?
I asked for a glass of water because I wanted to taste the water.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. So, and the good thing about it is that with a $900,000 property, which with my estimations in terms of income, the property in terms of camping accommodation, glamping accommodation, retreat accommodation will make us about $30,000 a year at least, like conservatively. Which basically means that the second block of land, with just that alone, will be paid off in 10 years, and less than 10 years, probably 7 years, and we'd be able to smash the other mortgage in about 3 years.
Yeah.
So you can be completely debt-free on everything on average in about 5 years. And then you've got complete flexibility.
Yeah.
Whereas all of these people in Sydney have $1 million, multi-million dollars in debt. Their mortgage repayments are $70,000 to $100,000 a year, and you just end up getting trapped. And I think this is the thing that this trip has helped us realise, is that we don't need much to be happy.
Yeah.
And the things that we really want that make us happiest don't cost a lot of money. Like being able to have a shed where I can work on my toys and tinker and stuff, and have like an area to do jiu-jitsu retreats, and have access to the water so I can go fishing. And not only like go fishing, but like some of the best fishing in the world is up here. Like that's the life, you know.
Yeah.
So really pretty pumped about that. I guess the things we've got to be mindful of is the downsides of, like, I was reading like lots of blogs of people who've moved up to North Queensland just to get a bit of a feel for like the lifestyle. And they're like, look, like you're constantly in the hot months, if you're outside, you're constantly sweating. Like sweating is your like default state. And then mold is a big issue. Trying to battle mold because it's so moist and damp. So the humidity, that's an issue. But I guess if you've got air conditioning running all day, you've got a good air conditioning system, it should deal with a lot of the moisture in the air, right?
Yeah, but that's inside, right? Everything else is
Sure.
going to. And like with that, rust would be a big issue as well.
Yeah, true.
So like everything that is outside that can get rusty, it will get rusty. Like when we're visiting the house, everything that was outside was rusty.
Especially that tractor. That tractor was probably like 5 years old. So on the property there was 2 tractors that were like old and like basically like yard art. One was like had been reclaimed by the earth in between these trees.
Yeah.
That was really cool. And yeah, that was awesome. Look at these rocks. And then the other stuff is like the bugs. Obviously, when you're in a forest environment, there's bugs and creepy crawlies everywhere. You just kind of accept that.
Well,
Although they said that the locals, when they get those green ants on them, they're like a little snake.
but that's the thing, right? You release a couple of chickies,
Oh yeah,
they'll get rid of it.
the guinea
You know?
fowls will love eating all of the bugs.
Yeah.
That's a thing. Like I was reading, people who have dogs in these kind of environments, that's why they have guinea fowls, because guinea fowls are much better at finding ticks than normal chickies.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. And just how just remote it was. Like the nearest neighbours are 10 acres away. You wouldn't hear a thing, and the road that the property is on is a dead end. So the only people that are going there is local traffic. So you wouldn't hear a thing.
Yeah.
You
can definitely like just not have clothes on the entire day.
We'll just make a nudist colony.
Yes.
Oh,
wow.
And the sound of the waterfall.
Oh.
Well, the video stopped. Let me start it again. Yeah. So it's like an hour for people. I guess it's not that
It's
far.
not an hour. Like the closest town. It's not even the closest like houses and stuff like that. The closest town is like 20 minutes away. Which is here is Gordonville or something.
Yeah, we need to ask the real estate agent what the rental market's like.
Yeah, and you need to understand that type of services, it's a profession in this side of the world.
Interesting.
You know,
Yeah, it's true.
So
Potentially.
that would be an option.
And then it's a matter of getting an adjustment on the other block of land because I'm interested to see how long it's taken for the grass to grow that long. Because obviously they had cows on there adjusting.
Yeah.
And then now
I'm
they've
not
obviously
sure.
stopped it.
Because it's not it's a special type of grass. It's not like normal grass. So. Not sure.
But I love that house. It's real cool. So what are you most excited about next? So we're going to the Cape, and then we're heading into the Northern Territory, and we're going to start going to Ayers Rock, and we're undecided yet if we're going to go to Arnhem Land, because it's a big trek. And then we're going to head into Western Australia. I'm really excited about the Cape. I'm going to keep going straight. Yeah, I'm really excited about the Cape. I've wanted to do the Old Telegraph track up to the tip ever since I got into four-wheel driving. It's like a bucket list trip. And I'm really excited to get into the Kimberleys, which is northern Western Australia. How about you?
I'm absolutely in love with Northern Territory, so everything that we're doing there is just a bucket list for me, basically. I'm definitely excited about the Cape, the Great Barrier Reef, obviously, but like basically everything. Like I want to go to, like, I don't know, I want everything in Northern Territories. I'm just very excited about.
We're going to have to start mapping out the timing because it's going to start getting hot very quickly. Obviously, I don't want to rush the Northern Territory, but I think we're going to have to. Otherwise, we're going to cook ourselves. So So I think we do as soon as we're finished with the Cape, we'll start heading towards Alice Springs. Go to Alice quickly, then duck into Darwin, and then start heading across to the Kimberleys, and then working our way down the coast. So I think the plan will be for us to try and get to Perth by October. So it's quite a lot of Ks in not a long amount of time. What do you reckon to be? So how have you found working from the truck? Is it as difficult as what you thought? Is it better than you thought?
It's better than I thought. It's so easy, honestly. Yeah, I don't even have like complaints or anything. We're finding like so far we've been like really good with internet spots.
Yeah. Even last night we had one bar.
Yeah,
And you could do a meeting no problem.
exactly right.
We didn't even use the cell phone booster.
No. And yeah, like with the headsets that we found, which
They're
is
the
this
best.
Jabra headset, it basically cancelled the noise. Like I can still hear Jackson, but it's really fainted. And the person that I'm talking to cannot hear anything, which is ideal. So we can both be at meetings, which is usually what happens. We're both like in meetings the whole day, and it's fine.
Yeah.
So it's being really cool, which is great because I'm an employee and I can't really drop the ball. Especially with the major exception that they made for me to come to the trip. So yeah, that's been good.
Yeah.
How about you?
It's been really good. I'm working a lot less, which is good. But when I am working, it's been fine. I haven't had one issue. Yeah, it's been fantastic.
Yeah.
Just internet connection's been fine. The kind of narrative of the trip is exciting for people because most people don't do shit like this.
Yeah.
And the reality is we overplanned so much. We didn't need to do half of the shit that we planned. Like, I reckon we could have left in half the time. Literally, like you could go buy a high ace van that's fitted out.
Yeah.
You could go buy a camper trailer. You could buy.
And that's the thing, right? With the technology world that we live today,
Yeah.
most jobs can be done remotely.
Exactly.
Like you have specific jobs that obviously need to be there, but it's not hard for you to like plan yourself up if you're not in a job that you can work remotely, and just like organize your life or plan your career in a way that you can kind of move that around, because that's what I had to do when we started talking about the trip. I was in a position at the union where I had to be there presentially. I was mainly in recruitment, and the way we do recruitment is by presenting at university and doing lectures and going to career fairs, that kind of thing. So I have to be there. I didn't have the option to do it remotely. So I started getting more responsibilities in a different role, which is services, and I moved myself into that position. So today I like literally do like basically that, and with rare exceptions, because of COVID, you know, if they need me in a lecture, it's just Zoom anyway. But if it was ever needed for me to be in a lecture physically, I can just, you know, go to exactly right. Just go to a airport and go there. Which is not something they want to do too much, but you know, it's fine. So I mean, it is possible. It does demand planning if you're not in that position just yet, and especially if you are an employee, can be a little bit of, you know, negotiating and planning and just being proactive about it. But
well, the big thing is just being able to demonstrate that you can do your job. Like,
exactly.
I'm a contemporary employer. I tell all of my team that if they can perform their job that they're employed to do in 1 hour a week, then the remainder of the 40 hours is theirs.
Yeah.
If they can systemize themselves out of their job and be able to deliver the same value they can in less time than it's been set, then I don't have any other expectation for them. And the idea of like traditional employment is that unless you're sitting somewhere and unless you are doing the hours, you can't possibly be of values of the organisation. I understand that there's some jobs where, yes, you have to be physically present. But if you're in a job where that's not necessary or you can work online, literally all you need is an internet connection that gives you a decent... Telstra is the only option, so obviously that's expensive. To have a internet with Telstra with enough data to be able to run your life, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, we had to upgrade that a couple of times, but I think now we found like the amount of data that we need.
And then you've got to be clear on your plans. Like, we literally plan 2 weeks in advance, if that.
Yeah.
And we just use Wikicamps to filter places that have reception, that have amenities, so we can shower and use the toilet and that kind of stuff during the week. And then on the weekends we get off grid.
Yeah, and that's something that I think that if we can get something positive from COVID, is the businesses realizing that it's okay, that people will still do their jobs if they're not in the office, right? And there's actually positive outcomes to it. Like, there are studies that are showing that people are actually more productive at home. Because, like, if you are working in the office, right, first of all, a lot of offices have a very bad environment. So, like, I know my office is just very depressing. It's like terrible lighting, and it's just not, you don't have much natural light, so, you know, not getting sun and vitamin D, it's easy to get, like, you know, I'm not gonna say depressed, but it does put you down in your mood. And you need to stay there 9 to 5. It doesn't matter how fast you do your job, you need to be there 9 to 5. While at home, if you finish your job,
it's gorgeous. Yeah, I think that's the lifestyle that we want. And
that was the first property that we saw that we wouldn't have to compromise at all. Like, it has absolutely ticks all the boxes for us, which is great.
Yeah, I really like it. I've never been up here before.
Yeah.
The furthest I'd been in Queensland was Brisbane.
Yeah.
And it's just gorgeous. Mountains and everything. I'm sure this would stop making noise. It's very annoying. So we're heading to a place called... Where are we heading? I forget what it's called. Anyway, it's like a little township. It's got like lots of little cool things there. Yeah. So I'm going to go explore. We've got some time to kill because we obviously don't have a lot of places to be until the tour up to the Cape starts. So we are off to the Cape on the 26th of July, and the only thing I need is basically I need reception to do my event on the 15th and 16th. And I guess we're going to hang around here, so we're just going to work out all of the day trips that we're going to be doing. Look at that mountain.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Wow.
Yeah.
So I'd like to go to Port Douglas. Port Douglas is not far from here, and it's meant to be really nice.
Yeah.
We're obviously going to the Great Barrier Reef on that tour next weekend.
I am so excited. So I wanted to support Aboriginal businesses, and then I asked around my TikTok, and I got a recommendation for this business that is called Dreamtime Dive, and it's the only cultural Great Barrier Reef tour available, basically. So it's Aboriginal owned, and you have like all this traditional activities and education, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. And Great Barrier Reef has been a dream of mine, honestly, since I was a kid. Like, since I learned about the Great Barrier Reef, I am in love for it. And that was before Finding Nemo. So I'm very excited about that one. Hopefully we're going to have like good water visibility.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be cloudy day, even though it's supposed to be sunny.
Okay.
So.
But it's more about the water
crossed.
visibility is more about the tide.
Yeah. Okay.
Because there's a lot of sediment, and if the tide is wrong, it makes the water really cloudy.
Yeah.
The place we're going today, there's a butterfly sanctuary.
Oh, is it?
They've got like 20,000 butterflies.
Wow. That is awesome. Yeah, I'm very excited for these parts of the world. It's, to be honest, it's been a little bit like constantly excitement, because like everywhere that we go, it's literally beautiful. Yeah. So.
What's been the highlight of your trip so far?
Oh God, that is hard. I'm not sure. I really loved, oh my God, so many beautiful rivers. I think that I've been like ultimately, that's not the word I was looking for. Lately, I've been kind of drawn to water.
Yeah.
So like specifically rivers and waterfalls, it's just like refreshing my soul. So all those like limpid waters that we went through, it's like just
Yeah, I loved the rock pools in Bellingen were really cool. That was really nice. And the drive when we went to go see that property in Bellingen was gorgeous.
Yeah.
And that big waterfall at that I went fly fishing at Dorrigo.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. That river, Texas.
See, it's hard. It's hard to pick like one favorite spot, because it's been just beautiful places after beautiful places.
I really loved the farm at Toowoomba.
Which one was that?
The farm that had the two big doggies.
Oh, yeah.
And all of the guinea fowls.
Yeah, yeah.
That's going to be our farm, like that. It's going to be the best.
With the geese, just like walking around and attacking.
I've got my shoelaces, got to tack. So that's one thing we're going to need, is we're going to need some guardian dogs.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any foxes up that way. I don't know if it's
around here. I was about to ask. Maybe like the predators that you have here is the crocs, and that's it. And the big birds.
Yeah, there's lots of cassowaries.
I was thinking, so yesterday we started watching the series Zoo, which the premise is animals start to organizing themselves to get rid of humans, basically.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, if they're going to put like an Australian scene where like cassowaries just like attack every, that would have been fucking terrifying.
Yeah, they're like velociraptors.
And like kangaroos punching people, and
then the snakes.
And the crocs.
Yeah.
That would have been terrifying.
So what's going to be interesting is if we buy this property, what are we going to do? Are we going to...
What do you mean?
Because I guess if we start doing the negotiations, we make an offer, settlement will be in like 2 months.
Yep.
So do we rent it out and keep going on our trip around Australia?
Oh, we're not stopping the trip.
That's
not going to happen. So, yeah, we either like find someone to rent temporarily.
The big thing's the maintenance. I'd be interested to chat to them about how much maintenance it needs.
Or like potentially, because like we're gonna have to have someone to take care of to just go there and then check it out and everything. And the thing that we could do is like Airbnb kind of situation, but then we need to have someone to take care of the inside as well. Not sure which one is going to be an easier option because I don't know the real estate market here.
Yeah, it'd be good for Airbnb.
It's a beautiful place for Airbnb, like, yeah.
But then you got to have somebody who gets the keys and does the cleaning and basically does all of that stuff. So that'd work well if we had a caretaker's facility where people.
But you don't need to. You don't need to.
Because you got to realize how far away it is for somebody. I don't know if there's somebody who can go and do all of that stuff and how much it's going to.
You can, go do your stuff.
Yeah.
So if people are just like more motivated to get the job done and everything, which I think it's.
And I think if you want to like live this lifestyle and maybe your current job doesn't lend you to having that level of flexibility, become a freelancer. Like, get a set of skills that allows you to, that's in high demand, that people are happy to freelance, whether it be graphic design or whether it be social media management or whether it be marketing or whether it be any other online digital services, and build up a client base and work remotely. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
And of course, if you're a business owner and you run an online business, then it's quite easy. And if you're in a trade business or a business where you need to physically be present, then you need to implement strategies to build up your team and get clear on making sure there's people there to do the delivery and ensure that all of the aspects of the business have people in the right place. They have clear KPIs and expectations and they're hitting those KPIs. And then what I would do is I'd start taking trial time out of the business, starting with a weekend and then starting with a week and then going to a fortnight and then a month, and you can continue to build it up over time.
Yeah.
To the point where my team is actually more productive with me not there because I've been working towards getting myself out of the business for 12 months. Even before COVID, I had a separate office that I rented, so I wasn't in the same office with my team, so they could experience me not being there.
Yeah.
So I just manufactured the environment so I could create the outcomes that I wanted.
Yeah. Oh, God. I fucked up my sunglasses. It was just wonky, and I can't manage to like make it right. I don't know.
Alright, well, that is our update. We will catch you guys later.